Welcome back to Unroth. I'm attorney Jeff Kaufman. This is my partner, Craig Lynd. I always try to keep you from being political on your Facebook,
yes,
right?
you do try to keep me from being political.
I do.
But oftentimes you become political yourself. I can't tell if you're just taking the opposing view just to generate some discussion or if you really think that.
Dude, I'm middle of the road. I am. You know I am. I am exactly in the middle. And I look at left and right and go, what's wrong with both of you people?
The people in the middle, they're the people on the road who get hit by the truck, though.
You know why?
That's what happens.
Because the truck driver's stoned. I can't do anything about that. But I think you're going to enjoy this.
Oh, do tell.
Illinois. Look at his eyes lit up. Every Republican, when you say Illinois, their eyes light up. It's like fresh meat.
Are we talking about Chicago?
Fresh meat. No, we're talking about all of Illinois. I was tracking something the other day, and it hit me as a lawyer what we can do. Let's say the government puts a hold on somebody for their immigration status, and they're getting out of prison. And they say, we need you to put a hold on this. Do not release this person into the community. Mm-hmm. You know, they violated their terms of being in this country. They're not here legally to begin with. You know, you need to hold them. Illinois goes, we're not going to hold them. Now, they're releasing significant bad people out of prison. And when we say bad people, you're not in prison if you're good people. I don't care. You committed a heinous act. Well, he's not really that heinous. You created a heinous act. That's why you're in prison. You're not in prison because you were bankruptcy and stuff like that. You're in prison because you most likely committed a felony, pled to it, and got time for it. You don't normally get prison on your first felony.
Nay, actually, you don't. Yeah,
no,
that's true.
It's really hard. You get probation.
You have to try to get into
or
prison.
The felony has to be that big.
The system tries to keep you out. You get break after break after break. They don't want to send you to prison.
You go to prison on bad cases. People were hurt. You took a lot of money. I mean, it has to be good. It has to be a good crime. And for those who say, well, you don't understand the system. We did criminal defense for 10 years. We really do understand it. And let me just say this. If you go to prison, you did something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he was innocent. There's a lot of innocent people in prison. But here's the thing. I came up with a way. You know, Trump is really, this is ridiculous. And I will agree with the president in this case. If you are in this country illegally and you committed a major felony and you're getting out of prison, you need to go somewhere other than our streets. We can agree with that. Anybody who has a problem with that, you're full of it.
Everybody agrees with that. Okay. That was the Democrat platform in the 80s.
Not the point.
And it's the Republican platform
it's
today.
Not right now, though. People are going, no, it's unfair. You know, they have families. Okay, you commit major felony. Normally, the crime was against somebody else. They normally didn't hurt. They didn't go to prison for suicide. Okay, I tried to commit suicide and I went to prison for no. They didn't hurt themselves. They didn't do this. They hurt somebody else. Now I have the solution, and you are going to go, Jeff. You're a genius, and you've never said it in your whole life.
I've never said that's probably true.
It is true. Never said it. All right. Here's what can happen. President Trump, everybody, Pam Bondi, from Florida, you'll love this.
I'm waiting.
If you do not hold the person, because that's their policy, we're not going to hold them when they're released from prison. If they commit another crime, you and I get to sue that state because my client would not have been damaged but for you letting this guy go.
You violated a federal hold order.
Exactly. Because you didn't believe, you said, we're not going to do it. And the government's not going to sue you because they're not going to sue another cop.
That's kind of like what they did with the Americans with Disability Acts. Like all these people there were so many violations that the government couldn't enforce it well enough. So they just said, hey, listen, attorneys out there, you get attorney's fees. You are able to prosecute this and we'll let the lawsuits fix this problem.
Now, I'm not licensed in Illinois.
We'll sick the attorneys on them. That's what.
Now, I'm not licensed in Illinois, but if I was an Illinois personal injury attorney.
There was a hold on this guy and he DUI'd my client. Now I'm
suing you.
State of Illinois. You are responsible.
And Craig and I know this one term. Out of all the legal jargon we know the words, but for. But for the government releasing this guy, this would not have happened. Well, guess what? If they would have given this person over to the government and he would have been deported, which he was going to get deported, this would not have happened.
Yeah, well, you'd stick the trial attorneys on him, and there you have it.
I'm actually unbelievably tired of people getting hurt badly by people who should not be on the streets anymore. in a scenario where somebody's just a bad dude who shouldn't be in our country in the first place, and this has nothing to do with political feelings, pull.
Jeff, my friend.
No, it's not typical. I'm talking a very limited area.
A genius.
Oh, look at me. But you don't mean it.
I do.
Okay, but I think the lawsuits will.
It's a great solution.
Just so you know, and people are going, lawyers, lawyers, lawyers. Here's the deal. Because lawyers sue people, we fix holes in our systems.
That's why you have airbags in your car today.
Seatbelts. People are required to wear seatbelts now because enough people were sued. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of issues. Doctors now are required to draw letters on the right leg they're supposed to operate on because of all the people who are operating on the wrong leg.
Yep.
I mean, all the weird things that you see in the world to protect us now, and people go, well, that's just stupid. You think they have yellow cones in Publix because they like yellow cones, or because enough people busted their ass that they go, hey, you know what? Let's put the yellow cones around the wet area, because so many people lives have been screwed up, but it's not because of that. It's because we had to write a lot of checks. And you know when change happens? When people write a lot of checks.
The only way to get these big companies to move or do anything is to force them to pay money.
Or our government.
It's the only time they care about it. And they have to pay money for it.
If you're a congressman and you say, this person's not here illegally, they haven't committed any crimes. The crime is they're here unauthorized. And we know that's a crime. But you keep telling us, and you think you can repeat this comment over and over and over again until we start believing your lie. What you are doing is what's called jury nullification. It means you lie to the jury and you say, here, I know this is the law, but don't follow it. Okay? These are the laws. You want to change the laws? And this is how both sides suck. Democrats and Republicans. Because when they have the power, they don't change the law. Because they don't really want to change the law, because they have people who vote for them that they don't want to follow. For example, abortion.
I'm so proud of you right now, Jeff. I'm so proud of you.
Here's the thing. The Republicans could pass a bill that says abortion is illegal. They could take it away, but they don't want to. And Democrats could have done the same thing and didn't. You know why? Because they're both full of crap.
They want the fight.
They want the argument.
I read that if you had taken all of the money donated in the last 10 years for homelessness and divided that amongst all of the actual homeless population, that each homeless person would have gotten something like $1.8 million.
No way.
Yes.
No way. Those are like the people who say, if Elon Musk donated all his money, everybody would be millionaires. And they don't realize, no, everyone would have $100.
Lots and lots of people and organizations make a lot of money, quote, fighting homelessness.
I don't like when we see the loss of the money and it just goes away. I think we should hold our officers who are responsible for this money criminally responsible, not civilly responsible, not they lose their jobs. But if you do not, it should be like criminal fraud.
Well, you entrust elected officials with tendering or tending to the money. So that those are assets that are put in your care and control. And if you run your organization, your state government or your city government so poorly that you can't account for hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions of dollars, that should be criminal, yes.
But we're talking the people who are actually responsible for the money are appointed. They're put in these positions. And they just get fired.
Well, a lot of time they've been losing money, 4 and 5 administrations before.
I mean, California with the fires, the water wasn't there. Who was responsible for the water being there? We know. We could look it up. I can promise you that dude. Why hasn't somebody going, hey, the reason why this area had no water was this dude.
Uh-huh.
Why the hell hasn't anybody pointed a finger yet and going, well, Bob, who's in charge of the water over here? It can't be that hard to find out. But I think we're intentionally hiding these people. We're hiding the people who have lost these billions of dollars.
What we're intentionally doing is hiding the incompetence of these people.
I don't think we are.
And actually, it's the cowardice, because they won't stand up for the right thing to do. The waters being emptied out, like you said. That was a problem that was foreseen years before it actually resulted in all those fires.
They have it, they said.
Yeah, they didn't store it. They shipped it out to sea because they didn't.
So they didn't keep the reservation.
Correct. Yes,
they
exactly.
made the reservation. They didn't keep the reservation.
They knew to make the reservation, but they didn't keep it. Correct.
Here's where the mistake.
They knew to store the water, but they didn't store it. They built the places to store it. They had plenty of space to store it, but didn't keep it there.
Here's the message, and I think this is very clear.
For wildlife, Jeff. For wildlife.
Here's the message, and I think it's very clear. We can't allow our media to let the question go unanswered. Like, for example, Epstein. We know who was on the planes. Clinton supposedly was on it 28 times. He says he was only on it 6.
Oh, he was the mayor. If you were doing Facebook check-ins on that flight, he's the mayor of that town.
What I'm suggesting is this. If you have a number, anytime they interview Hillary or anything else like that, ask her, say, how many times was he on the flight? You're a Democrat. You've made comments about Epstein. How many times was your husband on this plane? Well, 6. No, we have 28. Are you saying these logs are fake? They're not saying the logs are fake. I wouldn't interview this guy again. I wouldn't give this guy anything until he comes clean. You don't let people walk away, but they do because they like him. And the mistake we make is everyone gets up and says these things. They could have released this info. Everyone could have released it. And the fact is this, do I care about a guy who was doing weird crap on an island sexually? We found 150 kids in Atlanta and they didn't give it 10 minutes.
Yeah,
of air.
Isn't that disgusting?
150 kids. Obviously, there was SA involved, trafficking, and all this other things. Why didn't anybody cover anything on it? Why are we not discussing it? Why do I care about the 8 people on Epstein Island?
Well,
and I don't care about 150 kids.
Well, here's the thing. I hate to make this argument because it's going to sound like I'm a Democrat. You might have somebody who's very, very closely connected, maybe even guilty of some of that himself, and is doing what we know criminals do sometime. I'm turning state's evidence, and they can't release this stuff because they're using them to find out where all these kids are and who the players are and who's picking them up and how the process works. And so right now they can't release that information because they're still kids they're trying to rescue. So the cover up might be that don't mess with us right now because we're not done saving people and you guys need to shut up while we save people. It might be that. I don't know that it is.
It's not.
But if it is
BS.
And it's plausible, it could be.
It's BS.
Then we're not going to know that until they're done saving the kids.
When the hell does ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, or anybody care if the investigation is over?
I don't understand the question. What do you mean?
They don't care if they're still investigating. They don't care if it's ongoing. If it's on fire, they're going to cover it. And the fact is it's on fire, but they're intentionally looking in another direction.
Right. But they can't release certain information because it would dry up. Well, who's not releasing it?
Our media. They're not covering it.
Oh, well, they're being told not to cover it.
Oh, that works.
It worked for the UFOs.
We are intentionally not covering it, and I don't know why. We are interested. You know why?
Well, I gave a theory of why we might not be. And if my theory is correct, we wouldn't know.
No, it's 5 years down the line.
It's over.
It's 5-10 years down the line. They're not covering any of it. Every time they find a bunch of kids, they never say a word. And it's because there are pedophiles in our country at the highest levels who are doing bad stuff. They're into kids. And the only time we find out somebody's into kids is when we turn on them. I mean, let's talk about guys like Lou Pearlman. Lou Pearlman, who represented NSYNC and I believe Backstreet and a couple of these groups, was a pedophile. He did. He went after kids, went overseas. There are a couple people in these bands who have made it clear that they were molested by this guy, and nobody ever talked about it. They still don't. They got him because he was running a Ponzi scheme. It was a Securities Act thing that he was arrested for, not for his weird sexual crap. You know, the only person we've ever gone after for sexual crap dealing with kids, Diddy. And we didn't go after him for the sexual stuff he dealt with underage people. We dealt with, prostitution. Because he took 2 people getting paid.
Well, that was a trial. I mean, it's not that we didn't go after him.
But he didn't go after him for the kid stuff. Where was that?
I don't know. Did they charge it? Did they attempt to
Originally,
prove it?
they said we have all these people and underage and everything else. And then the trial, suddenly nobody. You know why? Because of all the people doing it.
Who was the young kid that was kid
Bieber?
Sponsored? Yeah. Is he not turning over?
No.
Is he not talking?
No. And look at
He's
his
like
thing.
the Gary Coleman of
here's
his age.
Here's the thing. I don't mean to bring you up again because of your celebrity status, because I know you're horrified by it. But the reality is this, is that if you would have came clean, if you would have said, "Hey, this happened," you could have prevented other people. We can see that you've been affected by it your whole life. You're looking at all the weird stuff that's happening to you, all the weird choices you're making. And a lot of that is because not coming to grips with this stuff that happened. And I see that all the time. And that's a lot of people suffer their whole lives because they haven't gotten the proper therapy. They haven't gotten this. And in Hollywood, this happens all the time. I mean, look at Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman told all of us, and we called him a liar. And now we know he told us the truth.